Grinding an angle. There are two methods which can be used to produce an angle on a workpiece. The first method to be explained is positioning the work at an angle to the face of the wheel. The other method is to use a grinding wheel that has been dressed to a specific angle and hold the work parallel to the surface of the magnetic chuck. One of the methods of angular positioning makes use of a sine bar and gauge blocks. Notice that the sine bar is made up of a bar and two cylinders of the same diameter. The bar is specially hardened and ground. The cylinders are lapped to extremely close tolerances and positioned exactly 5 inches apart. Sometimes they are placed 10 inches apart. If you were to place gauge blocks under one end of the sine bar in this manner, you can create any desired angle you need. It is possible to calculate how high to build the gauge blocks by using the formula shown. As an example, let's assume you want to grind an angle on a workpiece. The specs call out for a 25-degree angle. Look up 25 degrees in a table of natural trigonometric functions. By multiplying the sine of 25 degrees by 5, the distance the sine bar has to be raised may be found. A faster method, and in shops time is money, is to use the pre-computed tables in the machinery's handbook. Look up 25 degrees in the table, sine bar constants. Is the figure the same as you already calculated? Build the gauge blocks to the proper height by ringing them together. Then place one end of the sine bar on the gauge blocks so the cylinder rests on top of them. It is a good idea to do this on a surface plate. Place the workpiece on the sine bar. You will note that the angle has already been rough cut. This may be done on a bandsaw or mill. Clamp the side of the workpiece to the angle plate. Place the entire assembly on the magnetic chuck. And follow standard procedures for the actual grinding operation. After the grinding is completed, move back to the surface plate and reset the work on the sine bar. Use a dial indicator to check for accuracy. The indicator must read 0 along the length of the ground surface. There are several more ways of angling the workpiece. Among them are the sine plate, the magnetic sine chuck, an adjustable angle plate, an adjustable angle vise, a universal angle vise, etc. In order to dress the grinding wheel to the required angle, an angle dresser may be used. The one illustrated is just one of several models on the market. To use the angle dresser, first set the desired angle. You will notice that this dresser has a vernier scale allowing accurate settings within 5 minutes or 1/12 of a degree. After the angle has been set, place the dresser on the magnetic chuck of the surface grinder. Square the dresser with the chuck. Place the diamond holder on the guide bar of the dresser. Lower the wheel until it nearly contacts the diamond, then move the table so the diamond is directly under the center line of the wheel. Start the spindle and move the diamond along the guide bar until it has cleared the bottom of the wheel. Again, lower the wheel and continue dressing until the angle portion of the wheel is the required width. In this exercise, the workpiece must first be placed on a parallel, then secured to an angle plate with clamps. Place the work setup on the magnetic chuck and square it up. The work must be parallel to the travel of the table. Position the workpiece under the wheel. Turn on the spindle and lower the wheel head until the wheel sparks the workpiece. Adjust the coolant flow and make a pass across the work. The important thing to remember when doing this type of work is to plunge grind. Do not move the crossfeed once it has been set. Rough grind the angle by lowering the wheel 1 to 2 thousandths on each pass. Redress the wheel before making the finish passes. Note, one of the clamps has been removed from the setup to provide room for the angle dresser on the end of the chuck. Finish grind the angle to specifications.